Good morning. Big day today. I'm Don Retzer. I am a member of your board of directors, and I am here to welcome you. I'm glad that you're here and those that are visiting us through the YouTube connection. We are an ethical people working for the common good. We center ourselves around values, generosity, equity, transformation, justice, interdependence, and pluralism. Big words that we try to exercise and discover and grow into and find ways to make concrete. Sometimes life in this community, a beloved community, is very real and concrete, as it has been for me this last month. Just 1 month ago, I was in Portland, Maine, with my brother as he passed away. And that month that has been, as I have come home to this beloved community, I have been touched with so many kind and gentle words and gestures and hugs and notes. The reality of beloved community is very much the healing comfort in my life right now, and I want to thank you for that. Suzanne has an announcement to make.
Good morning. It's been so long since I've been up here. My name is Suzanne Short. I come to you this morning as one of the co-coordinators for this year's Mitten Tree. The last 2 years, the Mitten Tree has been virtual, but we are back in person with live mittens, well, paper mittens. This year, we are providing gifts to the residents at Caritas. The name Caritas comes from the Latin word meaning love and compassion, something I know this congregation has in abundance. The organization's holiday giveaway will provide around 300 participants with gifts donated by the community. Please help us reach our goal of providing 100 gifts for this holiday season. Helping is easy. Today and the Sundays of November 26th and December 3rd, stop by the Mitten Tree table, just outside the doors of the Great Hall. Choose as many mittens as you would like. Register the number listed on the mittens, take a copy of the instructions, have fun shopping, return gifts no later than Sunday, December 10th. We are working on a link that should come up this week on our church website, donation site, for those that join us virtually and are unable to get down to the church on any of these Sundays. So you can make a donation there as well. Again, thank you for making caring visible in support of our greater community.
Good morning and happy Sunday. I am the Reverend Sherman Z. Logan, Jr., and I have the honor and privilege to serve in this wonderful congregation as your senior minister. And I'm so glad to see all your smiling faces here this morning as we are celebrating our Thanksgiving potluck, the first time in 4 years. So immediately after service, we will begin to serve the feast, a time for fellowship, fun, and make sure you leave with a full belly. Today's service is being led by our Humanist group. And we're so glad they are here with us this morning. And it's customary here at First UU that we ask our visitors to introduce themselves. So if you are visiting with us for the first, second, or 102nd time, and as you are comfortable, please raise your hand, and the minister of the mic, Jamie, will run to you, and when she gets there, please if you are comfortable, please stand and tell us who you are and where you're from. Are there any visitors this morning?
Good morning. My name is Amy Eckhart, and this is my husband, Tim. We were here last week, but I wanted to really quickly just say I'm Bill and Jeanette Henry's daughter. I don't know if some of you know her and him, but we just came back from Texas, and I'm working through a lot of stuff with my parents being gone. And so if any of you guys know them or knew them and have memories of them, I would love for you to come talk to me and remind me of how wonderful they were.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Jack Schuler. I've been here a few times, but didn't take the mic. I go mostly to Quaker meetings, but I love the quiet there and so forth. But I love being here too, so thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Allison Meehan. I actually used to come here when I was in my 20s, and then I guess we moved out to the West End. And then I have these 3 kids, so so it's kind of hard to get here. But let me see. Yeah, I grew up going to the church in the West End, UUCC, and then when I was like really young, we went up to one in Northern Virginia. So I'm a UU, and just wanted to go to one that's not my childhood church, because it's kind of weird to go to your childhood church. So yeah. And these are my 3 kids. They're 11, 9, and 5. So quite crazy kids, but loud and crazy kids.
Thank you. Welcome. I think we're good, Jamie. Okay, well, thank you so much for visiting with us this morning. Now, if you are comfortable, please rise in body or spirit, greet your neighbors, and welcome our visitors.
recognize it as intimately tied to the story of the rest of the world. The words for Lighting the Chalice are written and read by Jim Bowlers. Sorry, Jim Bowlers. It's Somehow It Began.
Somehow it began. Bright and hot, cooler and fainter, until it was dark. Explosions of light. First stars scattering light stuff, galaxies. Second stars with families, planets, sprouts life. Microbes, plants, animals, dinosaurs, mammals, humans, telescopes retell the story. And now, please rise if you're able, as we sing our morning hymn this morning. Hymn number 1017, We Are Building a New Way.
Without God from Good Without God by Greg Epstein. This is not about whether one can be good without God, because that question does not need to be answered. It needs to be rejected outright. To suggest that one can't be good without belief in God is not just an opinion, a mere curious musing, it is a prejudice. It may even be discrimination. After all, would you ever ask, is it possible to be a good person if you're Muslim, or Buddhist, or Jewish, or Christian? Would you feel comfortable working for an employer who implied that all gays and lesbians were immoral, or all Democrats, or all Republicans? How would you feel if your daughter were planning to marry someone who claimed that all Catholics were lousy, unethical human beings, or all Protestants? This is a sort of all-or-nothing condemnation of a huge population one is making if one suggests that goodness and morality require belief in a deity. And it's hardly a hypothetical suggestion. Over decades of polling, A majority of Americans have consistently indicated a negative opinion of atheists and non-believers. Even in this enlightened 21st century, approximately half of all Americans say they would refuse to vote for a well-qualified atheist candidate for public office. In other words, 1 out of every 2 Americans admits to being prejudiced against fellow citizens who don't believe in God. No other minority group in this country is rejected by such large numbers. This prejudice ought to concern us all, because prejudice anywhere endangers not only its targets, but all who believe that we should be judged not by the color of our skin, or our gender, or sexuality, or by our religious preference or lack thereof, but by the content of our character. If we can convince ourselves today that one entire group comprising millions of people might be incapable of goodness, might be no good, then we harbor inside us the ability to turn against any hate and hate any other group as well, and no one should feel safe. It is not easy to live a good life or be a good person with or without a God. The fact that life is hard. Living well and being a good person are difficult to do, but that doesn't mean we should give ourselves permission to judge an entire group of people as incapable of goodness unless they're being good the majority's way. Tolerant, fair-minded people of all religions, or none, do not dwell on the question of whether we can be good without God. The answer is yes, period. Millions and millions of people are every day. So now Joel Blum will explain to us about the Share the Plate recipient for the month.
Good morning. So, Share the Plate for the month of November is Circles, RVA. This is the 3rd week I've been doing this. I had hoped actually to have one of our leaders, but she was not well, so she couldn't come today. But I brought, for part of the presentation, some writings from one of the other leaders. The vision of Circles, RVA is that everyone has enough money, meaning, and friends to thrive. Circles RVA is now in its 6th year. I've been active with it for 4 years. And the basic model involves creating 3-person circles. 1 person is a client, which we call the leader, and 2 people are intentional friends from the community that we call allies. And they come together and work together for a period of 18 months on SMART goals that the leader identifies as places and things that they'd want to accomplish. And the allies are there to be supportive, but also to hold the leaders accountable to achieving these goals. And then there's supportive staff and a range of resource teams that's part of the program. This is what one of our graduated leaders had to say in we have a newsletter each month, so a couple of months ago. This is under Leaders in Action, a graduated leader's journey with Circles, and the name of this leader is Delphine. I am a Virginia resident with dreams of owning a home with a white picket fence and being able to support myself and 3 children without the help of welfare or illegal activities. After all, it's the American dream, right? Well, coming from the levels of poverty some of us face in crime-stricken neighborhoods, just being able to keep food on the table and a roof over our heads isn't easy. I was never taught to plan, dream, and execute my goals and dreams. Then a church member introduced me to Circles. I was introduced to groups of individuals who would show me the way, and all I had to do was listen and be willing to learn and put in some effort. Over almost 2 years, I was taught to budget and save and become productive in my community. For the first time as an adult, people cared enough to invest their time and money into me, a former high school dropout. With the help of Circles, I am now in community college and on my way to home ownership. She's recently gotten a significant advance in her income at work. The values of each one, teach one, is immeasurable. I dare anyone to come to see what Circles is about. Come join the mission. You won't regret it. I certainly don't. So Circles RVA reflects our UU values in action. So please contribute generously and know that your donations will be most gratefully received. Thank you.
It's customary for those who stand at the pulpit here to introduce themselves, so in the spirit of our senior minister, I will say that I am the irreverent Douglas S. Jones, a member here for about 30 years. This part of the program is part of the service to give the congregation an idea of how the terms humanism and humanist are understood by several of our members who identify as humanists. And as a starting point for our conversation, where better to go than to the website of the American Humanist Association, which says, "Humanism is a progressive philosophy of life that without theism or other supernatural beliefs affirms our ability and responsibility to lead ethical lives of personal fulfillment that aspire to the greater good." That definition exposes one of the tensions whenever humanism is discussed. The without theism or other supernatural beliefs part stresses what humanism is not, and a lot of time and attention ends up being spent on the no God aspect. Rather than focusing this discussion on what most humanists do not believe, we thought it would be much more instructive to focus on what humanists do believe. To accomplish this, we've assembled a panel of members of the humanist group to respond to various questions about humanist beliefs. Due to illness, we have had to scurry around to include some last-minute additions, so thanks so much to those who are participating. To start off, I would like the panel members to introduce themselves.
I'm Todd Van Gordon. I've been a member of the church for about 6 years and a Unitarian Universalist for a long time, perhaps 1980. I was introduced to it by my wife, and it stuck very, very well. I've been involved in several things around the church, and you may have seen me up here before.
I'm Fricka Raycroft. I've been a UU since 1981, and no, not 1981, sorry, that's Joan. Or more than that, since 1984, and a member here since 1989. I came in through the RE window. That's a song, right? She came in through the RE window. Like many of you probably did. That was my introduction, and it's stuck.
I'm Joan Lewis. I've been a UU since 1981. I've been a UU in Texas, in California, in upstate New York, and now here in Richmond. I've been a member of this church since 2012.
Thank you all. Now let's get to the questions. The first one is a fill in the blank. As a humanist, I believe. Todd, you want to start that off?
Sure. As a humanist, I believe in the commonality of people, both individually and in groups, in societies. There are common themes which I see running through these entities. And they're very familiar. They're universal. They seem to be resonating with the humanist value. These people are, when I say these people, other tribes have universal properties, universal values, which I see as common to my own. There is also a common theme of responsibility that makes societies work, and I see that as an important humanist value, is being responsible for yourself and for others.
Well, I'd first like to call your attention to our pamphlet that is in the rack out there by the front door called The Faith of Unitarian Universalist Humanists. There's some interesting things in here, and it doesn't take long to read it. I recently read it, and one of the people in here really resonated with me. My answer to gods and goddesses and divinity and all that is atheism. My answer to how am I going to live my life and become a better person is humanism. And my answer to where am I going to do that is in Unitarian Universalist Church. I was raised as a Catholic. I'm fully recovered now, thank you very much. But it took a long time. It took a long time to go from that to believing in people instead of a divinity that would take care of it all. So, as a humanist, I believe we need to take care of each other. I could call myself a Jesus person, Not in the way of saying that he was God or divine or anything, but in that what a lot of things he taught, whether he existed or not, the things that he taught were very valuable, and we could still use them. Wouldn't it be nice if we all treated each other the way we wanted to be treated? We wouldn't need a police force because nobody would steal anything or hurt anyone. We probably wouldn't need a military. And what could we do with all that money?
As a humanist, I believe there are things I can know, and there are things so vast and complex, my meager brain can't fathom them. So rather than make up stories about all those unknowable things, I concentrate as a humanist on what I can know, taking care of others, being responsible to make the world a better place, and being basically a good person.
Thank you. We'll go on to the next question, and Joan, I'll start with you. Can one be a humanist and still believe in something larger than themselves?
Of course. It's really easy to see that there are so many things greater than just ourselves. A redwood tree, the Grand Canyon, compassion and love that you feel when you're experiencing it. But I do not believe, while I don't rule out a sentient being, I really don't think I've experienced one in my 78 years on this planet. And if there is one, it's a pretty sick puppy up there. So I deal with what I can see and feel and know, and make that my credo.
Todd, comments on something larger than yourself?
Oh, definitely. When I was in college, I was hard-pressed to answer a question by my roommate who said to me, are you a theist or an atheist? He was a Baptist. And I said, I was, in my heart, my brain was screaming atheist, but I hedged and I said agnostic because I didn't want to seem so out there and so different than others around me. I think now that I would call myself a soft atheist. Because I think a true atheist, someone who does not believe in any authority, any higher authority guiding and creating moral behaviors and that sort of thing, would be a disaster. In that a true atheist would not feel guilty at all for going and murdering someone. But there has to be some degree of moral authority in some form to get the right behaviors that we all experience. And we see, unfortunately, we do see bad behaviors, and I think we see bad behaviors even by, quote, theists. So I'm a soft atheist in that I think that there are institutions and rules of thumb, rules of normal universal behaviors which guide us toward correct behavior, responsible behaviors. So yes, I think that I'm a soft atheist.
Well, as you may have noticed, we're not all in unanimous belief on this based on Prika's reaction. So let's hear what you have to say about the next question. Without sacred texts or deities, where do humanists get their sense of what is right, moral, and good?
You're starting with me?
Yes.
Well, I take umbrage at being how an atheist can't be moral and would probably murder someone. Thank you.
What does umbrage mean?
I'm going to use big words. You better just keep up. So my sacred text, if I had one, was probably Robert Fulghum. Everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. Be nice to each other, be careful crossing the street, take a nap, take care of each other. That's where my hold hands when you cross the street. I don't have a sacred text that anyone else might think is sacred. It's nothing that other people would hold up and say, you know, we all have to believe this. Because I do think that humans are individuals with their, not only an individual brain, but an individual heart. And we develop that, hopefully, in a positive way. And I think that the culture around us has a great deal of influence, as well as our parents, on whether we develop that way or not, as evidenced by some people in public office who didn't have that. So again, I'm going to go back to do unto others. That's it. That's real simple.
We'll move to the next. Joan, we'll start with you on this one. Why do humanists go to church?
That's a really easy one. I go to church to find my community, to find my people. And I go to Unitarian Church because I know that here there will be others who are grappling with the truth, trying to make the best of the world, trying to improve it, and working together. I will feel that I am accepted as who I am, although it's probably a little different than most everyone else, and that I will be cared for, and I can care for others.
Fricka, how about that?
Oh, you guys are my tribe. When I found UU Church, I felt like this was something that I could accept. I hadn't been looking, but I had been, as I said, a completely recovered Catholic. I'm still recovering back then. And I just couldn't go to any church that was preaching the stuff that I just couldn't believe. And then when I had children, I couldn't take them, and I didn't believe you send your children to church and you don't go. And I didn't want to have to explain when they got home from Sunday school that, well, not everyone believes that. So when I found the RE pamphlet at the first UU church I was in for a different reason, I was so relieved. I thought, oh, this I can do. And I never looked back. And I was so grateful to have the community for my kids, because there's a lot of pressure in public school, or private school probably, to believe in certain things and accept them. And if you don't, you can be an outsider pretty quick. But if you know that there's a place you go where there's other people that believe what you believe, you don't feel so alone. And it gives you some courage to be able to stand up to people when they say something. So this is my community. Most of my friends come here, and this is why I come to church.
Todd, why do you go to church?
Much the same reason as Fricka. I come here to see you, to talk to you, to share ideas, to share problems, concerns. What do you know? What have you learned? That sort of thing. It's very important to make the connection to those people who come to perhaps talk to God. I go to church to talk to you as people that come here regularly. That's a good reason. And the reason I first went to church was a similar one in terms of children. We have 2 children, and we found it extremely important to connect them with a religious education. I taught Sunday school for 16 years. I was involved in church leadership, and that was very important to me. That's why I went to learn about religious education, religion, and also support others that are curious in developing their spirituality.
Great, thank you. And we'll start with you on this last question. Are rituals important to you as a humanist?
I thought about that when I was getting ready for this panel, and I thought, rituals. There are a lot of people who like liturgy. They like to have something that is expected, is going to happen every Sunday the same way. That's an important part of their spirituality. And I thought, well, what are our rituals? And the light came on. That little light over there is extremely important to me. It symbolizes the light of knowledge, which separates us from the rest of animals on earth, is the light of knowledge. It's a very important thing to me to see it lit and extinguished. And also back in the corner, you see the votive candles that people light for thoughts, the thinking about people. When I came this morning, I lit a candle and put it in there. I think it's still burning. For my family, thoughts of my family, my children, what are they doing right now on the West Coast? And for my wife, Patricia, she's here with us today, which is very nice. I see rituals in the baby ceremony, the naming ceremony, that is so touching and so spiritual, where a child, an innocent child, is named and shown to the congregation. These are the people who will guide you as you go and get ready for your life. Given a rose, perhaps, and having the child just crush the petals and rock them all over the place. It'll bring tears to your eyes to see that.
Fricka, rituals?
Well, yes, as a recovered Catholic, I love my rituals, I really did. And so, I'm all for it. I like the water communion. I like the flower communion. The child naming service, my children weren't babies when they were named in this church, but it meant a lot to me because I didn't get them baptized like millions of other people who did, but they were being accepted and made part of this community, which was a ritual that I really enjoyed. So rituals are real good. I like the ones we create for ourselves in our church.
I love rituals. We use them to celebrate important passages, birthdays, the ritual of making a cake and singing happy birthday, funeral rituals, memorial services. Rituals make things either the start of something or ending of something. When my kids were little, our UU church went on retreat, and it was usually about a 2-hour drive to get there, to the campsite where we were going to be. And we'd always sing songs. And one year we changed campsites, and it was like 20 minutes away. And when we arrived, my son said, "No, we haven't sung all the songs." So that was what he considered to be a ritual. And I think they make life fuller and better.
Thank you so much to all of you. We are at the end of time for this version of the Richmond Forum. But I hope that you have enjoyed this and have seen that there's some diversity of opinion with this, within the Humanist group, and also, not surprising in this church, I might add, but also some unanimity on some key things as well. I want to thank all the panelists and hope this was helpful and informational for you. Thank you.
We will now have a responsive reading, which is adapted from and based on a Native American Thanksgiving address. I will start and you will answer. This is call and answer. Your line is, "Now our hearts are one." We are thankful for the wonder in nature and the interconnectedness of life in all forms. Now our hearts are one.
We are thankful for nature's bounty that provides for us and sustains all living things.
Now our hearts are one. We are thankful for every new day providing a path forward to growth and change. Now our hearts are one.
We are thankful for the scientific method that provides answers to life's mysteries.
Now our hearts are one. We are thankful for the support network of family, friends, and communities. Now our hearts are one.
We are thankful for the opportunity to make positive contributions to our communities.
Now our hearts are one. We are thankful for responsible leaders that move us toward positive change. Now our hearts are one.
We are thankful for this church that encourages acceptance of all people and ideas.
Now our hearts are one. We are thankful for this church, which provides an environment to explore our own spirituality. Now our hearts are one.
We are thankful for the support of this church, available to us in a multitude of ways.
Now our hearts are one. We are thankful to be all together today in celebration of life. Now our hearts are one.
So now we'll have special music, Let the Mystery Be by Iris Dement and sung by Joanna Walker.
No one knows for certain, so
for our closing words and to extinguish the chalice. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. So now I'm going to release all the parents so they can go get their kids and get in line for the potluck first. So just go ahead, and we're going to sing our closing hymn, which is, if you can stand if you wish, or sit there. The hymn is 349, We Gather Together.